19 years later after the partition. So to touch on that last point I made, so Punjab was given statehood based on language only after a very long peaceful movement called the Punjabi Suba, literally means Punjabi state. Mind you, literally every other state in India have been divided linguistically except Punjab. Through Punjabi getting recognized, Punjab was subsequently divided even more into Haryana and other parts of Punjab being given to Himachal Pradesh. So even though this movement was peaceful, like completely peaceful, tens of thousands of protesters were illegally detained and some even killed at the hands of the Indian government. So now that we have some prior knowledge, what events directly led to the November genocide? First, we have the Dharamgir Morcha. So the Dharamgir Morcha was led by Sanjay Singh Ji Khasa Prindaramai. He was a Sikh leader, and he was advocating for the implementation of the Anandpur Sahib Resolution. The Anandpur Sahib Resolution listed the grievances of Sikhs and had 12 resolutions, but the main purpose was to establish Sikhism as a separate religion from Hinduism, which still is not, according to Article 25 of the Indian Constitution, and also to advocate for greater autonomy, not only for Sikhs, but for the entire region of Punjab. The government at this time, the Congress Party, led by Indira Gandhi, did not like this and took extreme action, arresting over 100,000 Sikhs and killing hundreds of completely peaceful protesters. In response to these measures taken by the government, Sanjay Singh Ji and the Sikhs, not standing for this, picked up arms. And that right here on the left, this person right here, Sakji, and that's them giving a speech to the Sikh people. So now we have a quote. Chokar as hum hai hilte dar gujast, halal as pradhan va shamshir das. When all of the stratagem employed for an affair or problem are exhausted, then taking your hand to the sword is legitimate. And this is from the Zafarnama, literally epistle or letter of victory, written by the 10th Guru of the Sikh faith. So now we get to Operation Blue Star, June 1984. So after the Dharamgir Morcha, the Sikhs were thinking of another protest, which was going to be very significant. It was to withhold grain from the rest of India. But why would this even matter? It's because Punjab is considered the breadbasket of India, accounting for 20% of the entire country's grain. The date was set as June 3rd, 1984. But Indira Gandhi, the aforementioned leader of the Congress Party, had other plans. On June 1st, thousands of army soldiers and commandos from different countries made their way to the ASA, aka the Golden Temple, complex where Sanjay Singh Ji and other Sikh freedom fighters were residing at that time. So after that, immediately after that, the government locked down the state of Punjab, and so no foreign agency or no one outside of Punjab, like not even inside of India, no one outside of Punjab could know of the injustices that were about to occur. So continuing on with Operation Blue Star, prior to the attack, Santji and other influential Sikh leaders actually tried meeting with Indira peacefully at least 3 times, but it never happened. On the surface, it may seem that the whole purpose was to kill Santji and the other freedom fighters, but in reality, it was to drop a bombshell onto the entire Sikh faith. Indira Gandhi strategically planned June 1st as the date to invade, because that was the anniversary of the birth of our 5th Guru, Guru Arjan Sahib Ji. This meant that there was going to be thousands of pilgrims inside of the Darbhar Sahib complex. So as well as invading the holiest shrine, the holiest temple in all of Sikhism, the Indian army attacked at least 35 other gurdwaras around Punjab. That's at least. So all 10 days of terror that the Sikhs were subjected to would take a whole separate presentation, because every day something eventful happened. So let's actually get to the main topic. This is a quote from Sanjay Singh Ji. Freedom from slavery is achieved only when a person starts to feel and understand that he would prefer death to life as a slave. Sanjay Singh Ji Khasa September 20th, September 20th, 1988. So now that's a picture of Santji, and now they're in the complex at that time. And then that's another picture of him reading from the Holy Scripture. And then that is the Akal Takht, which was basically the governing body of the Sikhs. It was right next to Harmandir Sahib, and you can see what the government did to that. That's the aftermath of it, after 1984. So now we get to the actual genocide, November 1984. On October 31st, 1984, Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her 2 Sikh bodyguards in retaliation for a decision to attack the holiest shrine in all of Sikhism. That very night, Congress Party leaders, including those people, Kamal Nath, Jagdish Thakur, and Sajjan Kumar, were spotted in Delhi plotting a plan to get a revenge on the Sikhs. And don't get mistaken, the violence wasn't just limited to Delhi. It occurred all over India in major cities. Khoon ka badla khoon, which means blood for blood. Amitabh Bachchan, incredibly famous Bollywood actor, inciting violence and revenge for the assassination of Indira Gandhi. Now continuing on November 1st, the day after the assassination, the Prime Minister of India at that time, the Prime Minister of India at that time, who was Indira Gandhi's son, Rajiv Gandhi, city political leaders start to hand out census and voting records to raging mobs who want nothing else but Sikh blood. You might think, well, the police must have done something, right? Because that's their duty, to uphold justice. Instead of protecting the innocent Sikhs, the police officials supplied the mobs with iron rods, petroleum, and other weapons to incite genocide. On the first and second days alone, over 400 Sikhs were killed in just one district. And that is the Tirupuri district, which was one of the most heavily attacked ones. That are 3 men in the middle beating a Sikh man, and then the one after that is a Sikh woman running away from the mob and police. Like Har turned to his companion and said, "See, they're dancing Bhangra, a Punjabi folk dance." Later, it became clear that it wasn't just this driver, it was everybody. No one cared about the Sikhs. We had been deluding ourselves all this time that we were instrumental to the nation, that people respected us. And here's a quick little infographic stating the most heavily affected states. And you can see more than 30,000 Sikhs were killed throughout India, and more than 300,000 were displaced. So now we get to the aftermath. Rajiv Gandhi, Indira Gandhi's son, and the new Prime Minister, when asked about the violence that had occurred on November 1st to November 6th, his exact words were, "When a big tree falls, the ground shakes." He justified the killings of thousands upon thousands of Sikhs by saying that it just happens. Justice has barely been served to those responsible for the genocide, and even some of the Congress leaders that I aforementioned previously have been praised and elevated to higher governmental positions because of their roles. As seen on the previous slide, hundreds of thousands of Sikhs were displaced due to their homes and businesses literally being marked and burned to the ground. To help these people, only independent voluntary organizations came. And they did this by turning literal university campuses into bona fide refugee camps. So now, why should we care? Some may think that since something so terrible and so horrid happened, Sikhs are guaranteed their right and prospering not only in India, but everywhere in the world. Unfortunately, this could not be further from the truth. A terrible drug epidemic has been plaguing Punjab and slowly eliminating the youth. To combat this, Amrik Singh in late 2022 started a huge campaign to bring the youth of Punjab back to Sikhi and reject drugs. He also called for a separate Sikh state, which, as I stated, that's the whole reason why we fought for the partition, why we fought for the independence of India, because we were promised a separate state. And also, he called for a separate Sikh state, which Sikhs have been fighting for ever since 1984. The Indian government hated this and sent thousands of Central Reserve officers and the entirety of the Punjab police force after one singular man. And this isn't old news. This happened in March of 2023. This happened literally just a couple months ago. And after failing to capture him, even after shutting off Punjab's internet for a whole entire week, Amrik Singh Ji surrendered himself at the birthplace of Sanjay Singh Ji Pinrawal. And then the next slide is just a picture of Amrik Singh Ji. And now I will actually take any questions that y'all have or any statements. So if you feel like sharing, just please raise your hand. No one? Okay, who can tell me what they learned, at least? What was one thing y'all learned from this presentation?
The Sikh religion differed from the ideologies of religions in the rest of India.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. And that's the whole reason why oppression against Sikhs have been so widespread. Anything else?
Oppression against Sikhs is still happening today.
Yes, still happening. I don't know if y'all have heard the news, but that Justin Trudeau called up the Indian government for assassinating a Sikh leader in Canada. That's caused a lot of tension. And if y'all have any questions about that, you can ask me personally. If y'all have any more questions about the Sikh genocide, the Sikh in particular, you can ask me because I've done a lot of research on this topic especially. So if y'all have any questions, any statements, you can say them now, or you can come up to me or like text me, whatever, later. But I'm willing to answer any questions that y'all might have, or just any statements. Yeah.
You say that you're part of an organization that like helps with this cause. So like what exactly do you do within that organization, and like what do organizations like that do to help them?
The organization I'm a part of?
Yeah.
So United Sikhs is a global humanitarian aid organization. I'll give like an example. It was in Ukraine when the whole Ukraine-Russia war started, even before the Red Cross was the first humanitarian aid organization that touched down in Ukraine. They have been helping across disasters all across the world, whether it be Hurricane Katrina, the floods in Pakistan, the floods in Punjab, the earthquakes in Turkey, as I said, the Ukraine-Russia war. So they've been helping all across the world. And by doing that, people get to learn more about Sikh. And actually, witness report from Ukraine was we have a tent set up on the border of Poland and Ukraine. So when someone said, look for the orange flag when you get to the border, because the orange flag is a flag of the Sikhs. So when you see that orange flag, you will find peace and shelter. That's what that person stated to someone all the way back still in Ukraine. So the organization I'm a part of is spreading the message of Sikhism, how that treat everybody equal, that humanity is one, and that's the message that the organization I'm part of is spreading. Yeah.
While the Sikh genocide was a horrible thing, like I'm not all too surprised it happened, because like in India, it's kind of way too common. Like one religious group always having violence on another one.
I wanna
like against like Hindus against Muslims, Christians, and so on.
Right. Before I say that, I don't want to say that this is like a Sikh versus Hindu thing, because it really isn't. It is more of a government, a tyrannical government versus seekers of justice. It's not a religion versus religion, because a lot of people try to frame it like that, but it really is not. We are never saying that we want to go out and like, we're against the Hindus, that we're fighting against the Hindus, because we are not. We're fighting against the government that has been oppressing us for hundreds of years. So, and you are right that religion versus religion violence is really common in India, but violence against the Sikhs is a completely different topic.